During Hispanic Heritage Month, we wanted to highlight certain individuals who have made a positive impact on our community. Today, we want to introduce you to Dr. Laura Ganci, CEO of Pattison's Academy. She's a native of Barranquilla, Colombia, but calls Charleston home. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so the way I pronounced your hometown, please say it the correct way.
Barranquilla.
Barranquilla. Okay, I could have done much better. Well, we're so glad to have you in the community.
Thank you.
And I think we became familiar with Pattison's Academy when the fastest bartender competition was raising money for Pattison's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we had them on the program, but maybe you could share with our audience a little bit more about what Pattison's is and what it means to the community.
Absolutely. Pattison's Academy is a really wonderful nonprofit organization that serves individuals with disabilities through 4 distinct programs, our largest one being a charter school, and we provide services from pre-K4 all the way through 21 years old. And we really have an interdisciplinary model and approach through the educational system that we provide, where we combined OT, PT, and speech therapy, as well as health services really embedded in all that we do, so that our kiddos who have more severe and profound disabilities are really well taken care of, and their families can feel safe and secure knowing that they're getting an education, they're making progress on therapeutic goals, and they're being cared for and supported in a way that is very holistic.
Because these programs are also extremely expensive,
Absolutely.
And this takes a huge financial burden off the shoulders of the parents and caregivers.
Yes, we really try to approach the care from a place of consolidating care for our families, because often these students have multiple specialist visits a month, some of them up to 20 a month. And so we really want to make sure that children are experiencing or have an experience just like any other child. And so they're able to go to school and spend less time outside of the educational environment, having to go to these doctor visits all the time. We bring in clinicians from MUSC. We have clinic days on site where they can see their regular doctor right on site. We have a nurse practitioner on site that's able to also do primary care work with them. And then again, they're able to receive a lot of services in terms of occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech.
And let's talk about, since we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, the impact that you have on the minority communities here in the Lowcountry.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I came here about 1.5 years ago from South Florida, and I have worked with the Latino community my entire life. And so it was really important for me to see how I can make a difference and how I can work with that community and highlight their voices, which are often marginalized or hidden. And so the first thing I did was look at our population at Pattison's. Were our Spanish-speaking families engaged like everybody else? And I did notice that there was some work to be done. And so I definitely took some initiative to reach out to these families, introduce myself, let them know that I could speak to them in their native language, and that I certainly let them know they could feel comfortable contacting me at any point, but I also knew that I needed to cultivate that relationship with these families.
Sure.
And so I did that. I made that effort. Anything that they needed, I made sure to follow through on. And I also ensured that any communication going home was translated. I review all the translations. I do most of the translations myself. And then I also created a WhatsApp group with our Spanish-speaking moms, because I know in the Latino immigrant community, we often use WhatsApp as a way to communicate with one another. Yes. And so that they joined voluntarily, and now anytime there's any last minute notice or anything they need, any sort of information we need to convey, I'm always on that group. Absolutely. And then they're able to speak to one another as well,
so
which is great.
A community here.
Absolutely.
Now, you came to this country at what age?
I was 7.
You were 7 years old. So tell us a little bit about your rise into this profession and into this career path.
So I certainly grew up experiencing maybe some difficulty because I was not from this country and because I had to learn English. And so I know for me it was a priority to sort of figure out how I was going to acculturate. And so there's lots of different ways to do that. Some ways are healthier than others. And I think for me, I sort of struggled somewhat in certain contexts, but I knew that education was going to be extremely important for me in terms of my success. And I noticed growing up that there were just so much of this community was marginalized and was sort of hidden, often felt othered. And I really felt it was important for me to do something about that and help in any way that I can. So my educational background is in marriage and family therapy, and my research background really focused on the Latino experience and providing culturally responsive care to these clients and families that are often underserved in so many different ways. And so I really dedicated my professional life, honestly, for the last 20 years, making sure that I was serving that community and sort of being an ally and an advocate in a way that maybe they couldn't be.
Yeah, and I can certainly understand that the stress that families undergo when caring for a child that does have special needs, that also creates issues within their marriage. So you're a one-stop shop, as they say. You have a lot of experience in now both of these fields.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with us. And of course, happy National Hispanic Heritage Month to you.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for watching. We'll be back after this.